$5 Games presents BlazBlue Chronophantasma Extend. So I've spent more time on gameplay for this video than any other one. Not because of quality. The basic tutorial took 2 hours, and then there was a tutorial for each character. And then I lost over half of the footage. So despite these setbacks, I still have enough for a subpar review. You can customize the controls, but you can't customize the arrow keys on the menu system. However, that's not the main problem for this game. The main problem is that this is as big as the game gets on my 4K monitor. The full screen options just make it black everywhere else on the screen. The game requires a lot of skill to play and takes a lot of time to develop that skill. So the developers have an assist mode that they put a lot of effort into, which will auto do things for you. And since I didn't use it, I died on the first fight in the Abyss mode and on the second fight in arcade mode. Abyss mode is just an endless mode that lets you buy stat increases for your character as you explore a limited map. The story is absolutely huge, and the game has several different stories to choose from, along with a catch-up story if you're new to the series. The main story begins like a movie, including everyone who helped make the screenplay, and starts with the bad guy summoning this girl for some reason. One of the side stories is about a guy who's now a girl for some unknown reason. There is a lot going on and felt a bit like I was thrown in the middle of a fanfic. I really should have started with that catch-up story. Gameplay wise, I'm just going to explain what makes each character unique, as I believe that to be the main appeal here. Ragna. He steals life and his sword changes into a scythe sometimes. Makoto. Each special attack charges, and you have to time it for maximum impact. Jin. He freezes his opponents and then slices them up. Noelle has a custom combo where you can swap around attacks in the string. Tager, a grappler, and when he hits someone, he makes them magnetic, drawing them closer to him with some of his attacks. He also has the second hardest super, where you have to do 3 full circles in a row. Bullet auto targets if an enemy enters the circle. Also can glow red to enhance her special attacks. And although I spent more time on Tager's super, this one is actually the hardest one in the game. 7 circles. But super happy that I was able to pull this off. Like, it's awesome. Taokaka acts like a cat and jumps around like crazy. Also does some doppelganger ninjutsu stuff. Valkenhayn can turn into a wolf to fly around the screen. Like, seriously fly. His human form is a bit lacking in mobility though. Azrael adds an upper body or lower body debuff which allows his attacks to crumple the opponent. After hitting them away, he generally chases them down, kind of like fights in Dragon Ball Z. Bang. He can place these symbols around that he automatically dashes through when he touches them. Also, it's impossible to do everything in his tutorial in one go because he has limited resources and they didn't account for that. Litchi has attacks with and without her stick. She can hop on her stick and make it fly around. Carl. He's agile, but his puppet is slow moving with high damaging attacks. Relius. Like Carl, except swapped. He is slow and hard hitting while the puppet is agile. Celisa. A lot of personality in her attacks. She attacks with the doll, and I'd say is the easiest character to play. Just press a direction and attack. Also, one of her supers heals herself. Kagura has stances, a big sword, and can cancel one stance into another stance. Hakumen has several counters, and then his special attacks come from a meter that charges passively. Arakune can turn invisible, teleports, fake teleports. Also, if he hits his opponent with certain attacks, it builds up a meter, which when full lets him summon insects to attack from very unexpected locations. Tsubaki has a separate meter for her special moves that has to be charged manually. Amane. Some of his attacks charge this meter. The higher it is, the more chip damage it does. Can overheat though, preventing its use. Moon number 12 summons turrets that fire after a couple of seconds. New number 13 summons sword projectiles from a distance and creates an area that slows down movement. Lambda. Very similar to new number 13. The main difference is that Lambda always attacks with a second sword projectile, and it's paced at the exact same time each time. With new number 13, you have more control. In the past, these two characters varied a lot more, apparently. Rachel can place pillars on the ground and strike them with lightning, also uses wind to push herself around. Kokonoe can set out a device to attract and push away opponents, also has a burning fireball and lightning trap. I also love this super, and you have a little control when she hits this button, but it is limited. Azama summons chains to pull himself around the opponent and occasionally the opponent themselves. Terumi, he steals his opponent's super meter, even when he's blocked, and even if the opponent doesn't have any. As such, he has several supers he can use, including a counter one. Also likes to stomp on heads. Platinum equips various weapons to assist her, kind of remind me of Princess Peach in Smash Brothers. It's said to check the command list to know what the 7 weapons do, but I did, and didn't see anything about them. Izayoi can turn her spear green to allow follow-up attacks to some of her attacks. Anyways, that's all of them. This game has a lot going on. Although the tutorial felt thorough, it didn't help me feel confident in being able to play the game. Instead, there were just big signs telling me to use the assist mode. But I don't like the idea of thinking that I'm doing something when it's actually the computer doing inputs for me. Don't get me wrong, this isn't a fault of the game requiring a ton of skill to play. That's totally fine. I actually should be dying this early in arcade mode, as I've simply not developed the skill to get there. Unfortunately though, I'm done with this screen size. Hopefully it's either fixed in the sequel or unique to my personal machine. Anyways, overall I think the characters and each of their unique playstyles are absolutely fantastic. That's a wrap for this game. Consider picking this game up instead of an arcade stick.